game. The Brazilian sides have been impressing, though, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a sense, isn't there? I think it's more than a sense, actually, that the Brazilian teams in particular, and actually this is also true of the Argentinians, the South American teams are so invested in this in a way that the European teams just aren't. And it's given them an advantage. It's not just the fans, it's the players as well.
100%.
They are more committed to it in a way that it's easy to go, have the European teams underestimated this? Have they, do they need a little bit of a sense check? Do they need to kind of take it a bit more seriously? Whatever, however you want to phrase that. I don't think you can do that in the time required. I think it just fundamentally means more to these Brazilian teams.
Jim,
they're giving it more.
It's a bit like the old quote, one free man defending his home is more powerful than 10 hired Chelsea players.
I get
Did
that.
Beckham say that?
Yeah. We said before the tournament started, didn't we, in this very studio, that the big jeopardy here, because we've got such a Euro-focused, Eurocentric version of football. I said that, by my own admission, we're doing this show for 18 years, and the other day was the first time I'd ever watched Botafogo play, right? So that tells its own story.
I know.
A very, very Eurocentric idea of football here. And I think that we've known in the past, in the old format of the Club World Cup, it meant an awful lot to South American teams. And I think also from a very basic point of view, if you are used to your best young players going off to Europe, all the focus being on Europe, dominating the TV, the Champions League being the big behemoth that it is, why wouldn't you be motivated to give everyone a bloody nose? And also, they're in a different part of their football calendar to us. And I think there's a sense of ennui with a lot of the European sides and the players going to have to go to the US and play it after the end of a long season. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Brazilian teams are going to dominate the tournament from start to finish and it's going to be an all-Brazilian semi-final list or whatever. But what it does mean is, if you, for example, have 10 minutes of madness against a very competitive Flamengo side, you're going to get punished. And they conceded a couple of goals. They had a player sent off with a stupid decision. And that's that, really. You can't afford to phone it in against a team of that level.
No, I think the European sides in previous sort of iterations of the Club World Cup and intercontinental championships and all that stuff is they tend to sort of start caring if they go a goal down or suddenly their competitiveness sort of comes in. Like I said, I'm not saying they're phoning in performances, but I think we will see a reaction from Chelsea, I would imagine now, because it's kind of like, okay, fine, I understand it's a long season and all the reasons given, and European teams go, well, maybe we're not quite as passionate, but you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to. No. You walk off the field, you got loads of the Flamengo fans, singing away, and again, the scenes in the stadium are great and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it will. A reaction will be needed from them.
And it was also, it's by far their toughest game in the group.
Yes,
and you'd fancy them to get past Tunis. In the final group game, which they'll of course need to do. Essentially it becomes quite straightforward for Chelsea because they just need to either draw against Tunis or beat them. You'd fancy them to do that. Yeah. And then obviously it's knockout football, lads.
Well, did you enjoy seeing former Chelsea man, although far more known for his Atletico Madrid exploits, Felipe Luis, who's the Flamengo manager, took over last September, already won 3 trophies. Not all classed as major trophies, but the Rio State Championship, the Brazilian Cup and the Super Copa.
Yeah, but football works so differently in Brazil though that they kind of do count, right?
Yeah, they do count. The state championships.
He's had a bit of criticism, to be fair, so you'd imagine that maybe they're not as important, but this will be a salve, won't it?
Well,
performance.
Jose Mourinho's encouraged him to say you've won a treble. Yeah, but no, he was obviously a fine player. He was
absolutely tenacious, endless engine room.
Yeah, a vital one in Atletico Madrid becoming the side that we all know now. But it was a great win for them.
I'd also add on the Felipe Luis ticket that he's had a terrible time at Chelsea as a player.
Yeah, he was only there, what, season?
Yeah.
Back to Atletico.
Lovely, yeah.
It was Mourinho, wouldn't it? Like, he would bomb you out after a season if it didn't work out.
He was an Atletico Madrid man through and through.
Yeah, absolutely. In the same way Garnacho is. in the same way Darwin Núñez is. Do you know what I mean? You can tell. You don't have to even be there for it to count.
Did you guys enjoy what BBFC rating certificate are you given to Nicholas Jackson's challenge to get sent off?
Can you do negative numbers?
No, as in is it?
Oh, sorry.
Is it a U? Is it a PG? Is it 12A? Is it a 15 or is it an 18?
I thought you were doing a sort of a straight rating.
I think it's a 15, but based on how horrifying the average 15-year-old is these days.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I sometimes see movies that are 15 and I go, really?
Yeah.
I'm frightened. Pete, you giving it an 18?
I think it's one of those ones that are like banned by the BBC, but then 20 years later it comes back.
Well, like
you
The
know,
Exorcist.
watching, and it's on Channel 4 in some kind of film season.
It wasn't that bad, though, was it?
Well,
The challenge.
Big Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
An orange. It was a Clockwork Orange card.
I mean, I think subbing off like people like Delap and...
Was it a Red Sonja card?
I think the substitutions were worse than the challenge, to be honest. But,
It was a shock. And he knew as well.
He knew straight away,
The
yeah.
only thing
And
he
I respect that.
He didn't walk, but I think because he was so gutted.
Yeah. He did the same thing against Newcastle, though, didn't he? It's like, I've elbowed him in the face there. Why have I done that?
Tyrone Mings is going, what are you worried about?
Yeah.
but I don't like the modern way of remonstrating against something you've obviously done wrong. Like the way I see it is, you know, like in The Sopranos, right? When the FBI turn up at Tony Soprano's door, he doesn't ask him what he's done. He doesn't plead. He just holds his hands out and says, "Can you take me around the back so my kids don't see?" And he's off.
Right.
There's a dignity to that. These days, players don't walk. I said to you last week,
Yeah.
Keane would have just walked.
Yeah,
I know what I've done. I'm part of this. This is who I am.
I just think he was so gutted.
He was, but he didn't remonstrate. He didn't try and say that.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, which I respected.
I do. I respect that as well. I do. I always enjoy seeing for Flamengo the guy called Everton playing.
Yeah.
Who Everton Sousa Soares, or is known as Cebolinha in Brazil, the little onion.
Oh, is he?
Lovely.
That is lovely.
That's fantastic.
Is that because he's very emotionally? He's got a lot of emotional depth.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers. A lot of layers to it. Could be that as well.
Yeah.
But
Terrible breath, maybe.
a vital ingredient in making a good recipe.
Good base for a sauce. Yeah. But seriously, he has got very bad breath.
Yeah.
Can I just also briefly mention that I've kind of been quite dismissive about Tunis's chances
You were
against Chelsea.
you're
in the
very
final.
dismissive. Yeah.
I also recently read that it's going to be about 40 degrees that game,
There's a
and I
chance.
suspect in Tunisia you might be a bit more used to that than you are in West London, so maybe that's a factor.
it's like you're fine-tuned to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It is like that.
That's definitely worth it.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. Well, every Brazilian team is leading their group. Group A, Palmeiras. Group B, Botafogo. Group D, Flamengo. Group F, Fluminense. All of them.
As I said, Champions League multi.
We did enjoy Botafogo's centre-half Alex Barbosa's performance against PSG the other day, where they stood very, very solid against them and kept a clean sheet. We got a comment from Estras Romero on Instagram who said, "In case you don't know, here in Brazil, Barbosa is famous for playing without underwear. He's the terror of attackers, 25 centimetres rubbing against their backs."
Yeah.
25 centimetres.
What could that mean?
Flaccid? What is it?
About 10 inches. About 10 inches.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
You've done the
I converted it earlier.
It's impressive.
So
Yeah.
10 inches flaccid. I don't want to get too into the woods here. But
But I will.
Does he
listen,
tie? Does he like a stripper? He ties like a little rubber band on the top,
Possibly,
so it's
possibly.
erect, but it's not really erect.
Yeah.
Right.
I will put up with a lot. I will personally sign off on this being included in the show. But I will not have a metric measurement of it.
Imperial or nothing.
Imperial nothing.
Is that
I saw someone with a T-shirt the other day, right?
Mm.
And it was George Washington
Oh, yeah.
in his gear
with a hog?
on a tank.
He on the dollar bill.
On a tank,
Mm.
and it just said, "What the fuck is a kilometre?"
Love it.
Should he be at least be? Should he not be wearing like some kind of lined short?
I cannot see how anyone, whatever the size of their appendage, can get out of playing football at a competitive level with no restricted
With no pants, yeah.
underwear on.
Is he looking for a pants sponsor like who's the
Nicholas
one?
Bentner.
Nicholas Bentner, yeah.
Bentner.
Paddy Power.
Yeah.
Don't give
mate,
me why are you
Don't mention
mentioning
it.
it?
Sorry, he's had one then, hasn't
People
he?
behind the scenes are working hard to get a sponsor for next season, and you're giving it away for nothing.
Yeah, I'm giving a little wink,
taster,
innit? Little taster, innit?
Yeah.
10 inches, eh?
Talking about wangers.
a marginal gain does't seem to do the man justice, but that is what it is, isn't it?
I
Surely.
would like to know how
I'd
heavy...
hate that.
Yeah, I would. I would like to know how heavy it is in stone. 10-inch, 2 stone. I don't
Imagine
know.
if he was playing the 80s, those tiny little shorts.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
No.
Elsewhere in the Club World Cup, Man City beat UAE side Al Ain 6-0. Pep named a completely different starting 11 to the first game.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva took the armband for the first time since being made club captain. They really want him to stay.
Yeah, they do.
He is a bit
and
Danny
he seems
Glover,
to
isn't
really
he?
want to go every year, yeah.
He's Danny Glover, lethal weapon, and he's just another one. Another season. Give him the armband.
Did you see Echeverry's first goal?
Lovely one, free kick.
In off the port. Bar.
If you're not sure, just say woodwork.
Woodwork.
Catch your tongue.
Good point,
That's what the
yeah.
West Ham fans used to sing it for Denver Bar. Denver Bar. Should the keeper have done a touch better? That. Yep. Right.
10 inches of woodwork.
Oh, dear me. Yeah. So Manchester City need to beat Juventus in order to avoid the winner of Real Madrid's group. Get them together.
Yeah, why not?
Rematch of the game of the
Get that mulch together.
Well,
Champions League dregs.
Yes, exactly.
Get out of the way. Get one of them out as soon as possible.
Real Madrid sent Pachuca out of the tournament last night.
Use their full name. Pete Donaldson's Pachuca.
Pete Donaldson's
Petey
Pachuca.
Pachuca's Petey Pachuca's Pachuca.
Is that when you're on the elliptical for an hour? You're just fuming. Get
So
some energy
angry.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat them 3-1. Madrid, of course, went down to 10 men after 7 minutes when Raul Asensio got a straight red for pulling down Salomon Rondon. I mean, certainly impeded him.
Yeah.
Rondon,
He's a seasoned performer.
I think it was a foul. It was a bit soft, but it was a foul.
I'll give Jim the floor because he wants to get stuck into Raul Asensio.
Yeah,
Before you do, can I just say he needs to show better decision making than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
Gave
been
her
the
a
story
penalty
of
in
his
that last
tournament,
match,
isn't it?
didn't he?
Yeah, he gave away a penalty really early on as well, if I remember rightly. Now he's got sent
previous
off really
game.
early on. Yeah. He's all over the shop.
Look,
He wants holiday.
Lads, it's Salomon Rondon.
Yeah,
He's
you'll catch him.
35.
You will catch
And
him.
he's not being managed by Rafa Benitez. He's definitely not going to score.
The ball's at his feet. He can't header it from there. Don't worry about it.
But you're because of him, you're a Pachuca man.
Yeah,
in this
massively.
tournament.
But he's a fine finisher. I
And
would-
Kennedy.
Yeah.
Kennedy was
Kennedy,
there.
yeah.
Nice to see them
Nigel
together
Kennedy
again.
is used his full name.
Well, I was thinking of president, but then probably Nigel's a safe
President
one.
Nigel Kennedy.
Yeah, there you
fine.
go.
Courtois was busy. He's busy in this match.
I thought Pachuca did okay, but Real Madrid with 10 men are better than them. They beat them 3-1.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's not insignificant, isn't it? Playing against 10 men and getting beaten 3-1.
For 85 minutes.
it's not too shabby. Jude Bellingham took his goal very well.
Lovely finish.
Yeah.
Precision. Like a big can of WD-40.
And the timing of the strike, it just pings off the boot. You can tell the technique is top quality.
Absolutely
It was a lot
gorgeous.
cleaner than Job's, and you know he was thinking about
Yeah,
that.
oh, yeah.
The Bellinghams are up and running.
They
though.
really are.
Oh, yeah.
As we expected that to happen.
I expect by this time next year,
Yes.
they are both going to be lead starring in a screwball comedy. A remake of the Cannonball Run with the Bellingham brothers.
Yeah.
Both dressed as nuns.
Nice.
Come on.
Oh, you went for the nuns?
Yeah. I've had to work really hard there to get you on board. I can tell by your face.
No. As soon as you said Cannonball Run, I was there. Cannonball. Oh, come on, we're
Yeah.
getting sidetracked here.
Yeah.
And we will for the next 10 minutes. Who's seen Cannonball Run and Cannonball Run 2?
Yeah, we should definitely do a watch through of Cannonball Run for the Discorders.
Absolutely.
Fucking so good.
I'm actually more of a Cannonball Run 2
I know
guy.
you are, and that's wrong.
Only if I could do it on elliptical.
Yeah, you
Didn't
can.
they do a remake recently? Anyway, who cares?
I don't think they did. I think we were just discussing it. None of you sounded up for it, and now suddenly you do.
No, they did, and Johnny Knoxville was involved.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's-
Somebody Google that or I move
Yes,
on.
I think it was.
No.
Yeah, well, look. Trent was involved in one of the goals.
Yes, he was.
He was, yes.
Is that, I mean, it's a bit disrespectful. So early on.
I know.
He's barely left Liverpool and he's getting involved in another
Yeah.
team's goal.
It's poor. I heard he celebrated the goal in Spanish as well. Disgraceful.
La Rata.
Like,
I heard him say, I'm not being funny, and Liverpool fans, if you're listening, just make sure you're sitting down for this. You've got some headphones in. You can.
they're not listening.
I heard, yeah, not anymore. I heard him on the mic, pitch-side mic say, Vamos.
Did he?
Yeah.
He said, we're down to Diaz men.
Diez hombres.
Diaz hombres. Diaz hombres. Diaz
Caballeros.
Real bad hombres.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Job scored in the Dortmund match where they beat Mamelodi Sundowns 4-3.
This game.
The Sundowns are
this is
great
brilliant.
value. I want them to go through because they won their first game.
A 90s knockoff Brazil kit as well.
Yeah, well, they're called the Brazil, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm not being funny. Lucas Ribeiro Costa, his goal was like fucking prime 90s Ronaldo. Just fucking marauding.
It was a
Yeah,
proper
it was a beauty.
FIFA
Brilliant.
95 video game
Beauty.
goal.
Lovely stuff, that.
Am I right in remembering that goal came from a big defensive mix-up, like Chelsea's goal as well?
Not huge. It was almost like a kick-off on FIFA where you just
Right,
run.
yeah.
And they were just, the
did
Dortmund
the whole
defenders
pitch.
just throwing themselves on the floor.
Yeah.
And then followed straight up by a goalkeeper giving the ball straight to an attacker.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
such a
chaos.
gift.
It's great.
It was madness. But what I loved about the goal was, as he galloped through, there was a couple of his teammates. I was like, "Don't you dare
Don't you
pass that!"
fucking-
Yeah.
You could get assist of the tournament right now, fine, but you'd be in the hat for goal of the tournament. You wouldn't get this. It's not a hat. It's judged on its merit.
No, it's a Make America Great Again cap.
Yeah. It's a hat in Ben Arthur.
Tell you what, that would be if it was the draw. I know it's not how it works, but if it was an open draw like the FA Cup and they did it in a MAGA hat, come on, come on, it is disgusting, but come on.
Yeah, and it's instead of the balls that they do the hand round to get the trees.
Rob the mod?
No, it's bitcoins
Yes.
with names on them.
Rod Stewart's involved somehow. Oh dear, but Sundowns. So they lost the game. They rallied a bit, but
Some of the goals were controller through the TV stuff.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Weren't they? Yeah. There's at one point, the second Mamelodi Sundowns goal, the guy had headed 1-2 off the post.
Oh, it's class. Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a shame that Dortmund's Dortmund's fourth was an own goal, was it not?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and that's such a shame because obviously it was 4-1.
But you're right.
Is all South African football like this? Because I think we need to be, have one eye on this.
I assume so. But you're right, Luke, with regards to the sort of control. You know, when you're trying to find highlights for quite an obscure a UEFA Nations League game, right?
Yeah.
And you think,
the final of the UEFA Nations League.
Where's the UEFA.com button on this remote? I can't find it.
And you go on YouTube and you have to. Oh, here's one. And you watch it
game,
and you think, oh no, it is FIFA or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But that game with Sundowns Dortmund was. I, at one point when I watched back the highlights, I was like, am I watching the FIFA? Am I watching the game? Yeah. Glorious stuff, though. Very, very enjoyable. But Peter also... Oh, no, Luke, they were your side. The South Koreans, Ulsan HD, are out of the tournament.
Ulsan HD till I die.
Yeah, well, you're dead now.
Hopefully they can make up for being knocked out by getting the TV rights for the rest of the tournament.
That would be good.
On Ulsan HD.
Well, they were knocked out of the tournament. Fluminense beat them 4-2. They were 2-1 up. They had a great chance to make it 3, but they were ultimately defeated.
Love that Hartlepool United away kit. Oh, fancy a bit of that.
I mean, was it a great chance to make it 3, or was it a guy was released through on goal? He took ages, didn't really get much of a shot
made
off.
A poor decision.
Probably summed up the whole reason they're out of the tournament.
Yeah, that's another way of putting it, of course.
Yeah.
We've actually got an email from Tony. Luke's recent affinity for Ulsan HD, formerly Ulsan Hyundai, was music to my ears. I lived in the lovely town of Ulsan, teaching English back in 2011. I can confirm that they're not particularly known for much other than being close to Busan or having loads of Hyundai factories. They did, however, have the big Hungarian Martin Adam there last season.
Oh, yeah.
Who everyone had a bit of a thing for at Qatar.
Euro.
Yeah,
no, it's not the Euros, 2024.
Yeah,
Might
probably.
have
I think it was the Euros.
Yeah, either or. Yeah, okay.
But for those who don't remember him, battering ram with a forward.
Yes.
Think about like a really quite poor Nicholas Fulkrug.
Yes, people were very unkind about his physical.
Not me. I was an admirer of it.
I lived, says Tony, I lived 5 minutes walk from the 2002 World Cup built Munsu Stadium, which allowed all foreigners to K-League games gratis while I was there, which is very kind, isn't it? There was nothing like watching them smash those Pohang Steeler slugs with a spicy kimchi ramen and some dried octopus to hand. Lovely stuff.
Great to hear from Tony.
That is nice, isn't it?
Lovely bit of sweet dried octopus.
Yeah, I wonder what Ulsan HD will do next. So they'll use it as a chance to build and
Super HD.
come back.
Yeah, that's probably what.
But I'd love if they came back to the Club World Cup
8K.
next time and they were Ulsan 4K.
60 frames per second.
All eyes on them. Bayern confirmed their place in the knockouts with a 2-1 win against Boca Juniors. Nice to see Harry Kane scoring against an Argentinian team.
Yeah. Why is that, Marcus?
History.
Oh, really?
Right.
No, because they don't like us.
Interesting.
I'm
That's
worried
why.
he's used it up.
Oh, yeah, there's a point.
No, I think that means we're now world champions.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
So that fat bloke climbing on the bus stop, he looks stupid now.
Oh.
Because Harry Kane, our England captain, has scored against one of the premier Argentinian club sides.
Yes.
We are now, like Scotland say, we're now the unofficial world champions.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that's how it works now.
I'm fearful. I'm very hard. This is a hard sentence to say, so bear with me. I'm very fearful for Boca now.
Yeah.
I want them to stay.
I'm now worried about England. They'll get a revenge next summer, as Jim says. Yeah. Boca, though, they're in a bit of trouble. So what happens now is they need Benfica to lose to Bayern, but Boca need to beat Auckland City by more than 6 goals to go through.
Doable.
Because Benfica obviously...
Not sayable, but doable. Boca's boys and Bayern's boys.
Yeah.
Yes, and Benfica's boys. Benfica's boys beat Auckland City 6-0. It took almost an hour to find the first goal.
I tell you what, is there a better team in this tournament that you would want to have such a clear mission? Like, the Boca fans are absolutely crazy. Auckland are obviously way out of their depth.
Yeah.
So it is very possible that they could get those goals. They will be going hell for leather the whole time.
I reckon they might
Players and fans alike.
They
it's going to be brilliant.
accidentally end up scoring 28 goals. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Police machine it.
Oh my goodness! Miguel Merentiel scored a beauty against Bayern.
Lovely goal.
I think he might do the whole Auckland side.
Yeah.
With those hips.
It was a very kind of satisfying goal and almost a kind of 1970s World Cup type way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a classic goal. You see it in compilations going forward forever. Yeah, even though admittedly it wasn't quite as important.
A little bit Ricky Villa.
Yeah, and it's a consolation in the Club World Cup, but it was still good.
Peter.
Yes.
Urawa Red Diamonds are out of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they were giving it the big licks about on the YouTube highlights, which I watched. Inter were like, Inter will absolutely put them to the sun. No, they fucking didn't. They were good.
Red Diamonds were 1-0 up
good.
for more than an hour. Then I tell you what, that goal from Lautaro Martinez, Jim, what a flick!
Absolutely beautiful.
Would you call it beautiful improvisation?
I would call it that.
Was
facing the wrong way, doesn't matter.
Was it an overhead kick?
It was an overhead torpedo.
Can I give a very, very convoluted reason, Marcus, why you shouldn't be cheering for Inter in this tournament?
Yes.
Their manager is Christian Kivu at the moment.
Right, I'm a Christian.
Well, that's a good point, actually. Okay, but
Good point,
just
actually,
listen to this, though. Partly responsible for England going out of Euro 2000. Yeah, Phil Neville.
Very un-Christ-like.
Philly Neville. Very un-Christ-like, according to Peter.
Yeah.
What, sorry?
That's what Christ would have wanted, England to go for a Euro 2000. Said it very clearly in the scripture. How do you feel about it?
Well, being from God's own country, I'm going to have to weigh this up, although I still think it was more of an error of Phil Neville's.
But it's got all the ingredients. It's got England going out early in the tournament, which would have been a very formative memory for you in the Euro 2000.
It was gutting,
It's got Fizzer getting embarrassed. Yeah,
but we didn't know him as Fizzer back then.
True, actually. That's why he got the nickname Fizzer. Christian Kivu should have fired it right up his arse.
Yeah, true enough. Well, I wanted the Red Diamonds to win. They didn't. Inter did, and now I have to hate Inter. I think that is the takeaway there.
What I want out of this tournament is I would very much like someone to give me one of those weird plaques. Do you know when they do the team photos and they have two these kind of like golden kind of circles? And they've got the logos of the team in the
like
centres. Now,
pennant.
I
It
want
used to be a pennant, but it's metal.
It's like it's big. It's like the size of like a massive sort of display plate. We've all got them, and
You got one with Chairman Mao on it.
I do. It broke. No, it wasn't Chairman Mao. It was actually Xi Jinping.
Okay, yeah, sorry,
I don't know why I bought that. It's broken now.
I thought Luke was joking to stitch you up.
I do have a big plate
Reality
of
was
Xi Jinping.
much weirder.
It's broken now. If anybody wants two halves of a plate of Xi Jinping,
I don't have many takers for that, mate.
It's a trap. That's what it is.
But I really want one of these golden plaques. I can't tell whether they are kind of like there's like several plaques per team, or they're just interchangeable sort of cardboard to slide into the golden
I think we all know.
filigree.
I think
we all know FIFA are going to sell these for about 600 quid plus.
Right,
Yeah,
I see.
Peter, get yourself over to the States and get back with one
Get
tucked
one.
under your arm.
Yeah, I
and
just
you can
want
get,
one.
And get the Club World Cup trophy while you're at it. or break the lock.
Yes.
So when it comes to the grand opening, it's...
Fill it with glue.
It's just like, what's happened here?
The
Someone's glued me
aesthetic
lock.
approach to everything seems to have been, let's take stuff from normal football, make it much bigger, and make it golden. That's better, right?
I honestly think the golden thing might be a bit of a Trumpy sort of thing. He'll talk about us.
Yeah. Of course it is, yeah.
It is, yeah. All right, coming up after this, a brawl in the under-21 Euros, and Southgate gets turned down by Poland.
Ooh.
Me and Steve Bruce, we go up to this meeting, one of them Premier League meetings, and Pep was there, and he just said, all right, Pep, and he goes, all right, lads, and I said, what was that thing about Lionel Messi? And he goes, Sean, Steve, I tell you this, Lionel, no way can he come to Manchester City, because I tell Lionel, it rains.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. Thanks to friend of the Ramble, Hambo, for sending us that clip. You can become a friend of the Ramble too by joining our Patreon for just $5 a month. You'll also get every episode of the Ramble on the continent and upfront, ad-free, and access to the Football Ramble Discord. Search patreon.com/Football Ramble to get involved. And before Luke talks about Sean Dyche, I would like to say thank you, Luke, for letting me get to the end of that read.
That's right.
And also, I actually thought that wasn't a bad impression of Pep Guardiola. Anyway, that aside, over to you.
Well, before I stick the boot into Sean Dyche and how much of a bellend I think he is, I just wanted to say that over the weekend on the Discord, available to our Patreon subscribers, the lads on there were doing their own Jack's Encyclopedia tournament.
Go on.
It's ongoing at the moment, but Moon, who you'll know regularly contributes.
Big Moon.
He's 2 out of 2, I think. Paddy's doing really well. Paolo's doing well. Goose eggs for Damo, goose eggs for Dead Fox, and goose eggs for Johnny Eggs, sadly. But look, it's not as easy as it sounds when you listen to it. But if you want to go to patreon.com/Football Ramble, you can get on the Discord, you can get involved in your own Jack's Encyclopedia tournament, and what a lovely old bit of fun it is.
They should get involved, shouldn't they, Peter?
I think they should. Obviously I can't officially mandate that they do that because obviously it's a non-RIAFA branded tournament. So
yeah, it wouldn't be officially. The results wouldn't be officially recognised.
No.
Interesting when you went for RIAFA, you didn't go for RIFA. I see why. Yes,
Pete, a friend with weed is a friend indeed.
Nice.
Yeah,
is that conceivable?
Legalise it.
Right.
But don't ratify it.
Anyway, Sean Dyche blatantly thinks he could have his own chat show.
Yeah.
And it's annoying me.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be able to, though, because he would have to ask guests questions about them.
About them, exactly.
Then it would all
Also,
fall
a bit like
down.
Richard Herring's podcast.
Well, let's move on to the European Under-21s tournament. England beat Spain 3-1. Come on!
They're addicted to losing, aren't they, Spain?
Yes. I'll tell you what.
They were
Losing.
pre-tournament favourites, I believe.
Well, yeah, they've not been brilliant this tournament, but yeah, they're a big side. And I think because England had sort of spluttered a little bit through the group stage, I think myself included, a bit concerned about
They had
this
a lot
one.
more room in this match, I think, to do their thing. They look really swash and buckling.
Yes, which is what we like.
I think is the reality here that their actual under-21s are so good they all play for the first team.
Maybe.
It's probably it, Jim.
But I sat down Saturday night to watch this with a decent amount of trepidation. I thought England, as you said, have not looked that good. I thought they struggled badly. But in a way that they haven't looked so far when I've seen them, they looked exceptionally well coached against Spain. The press was really good. They started really well. They basically 1-2 punched Spain early on, and Spain found it very difficult to deal with what was happening.
I mean, McAtee's a brilliant player. I want to see more of him next season. I fear it could be. Do you remember with Phil Foden? It took ages for him. And look, okay, fine. Other than didn't have a great season, just gone. But Phil Foden's one of the best English players.
But the difference is he sent McAtee out on loan, and he never did that with Foden. That was part of the reason with Foden. You just never saw him.
Yeah, maybe. It was just sort of drip fed, and then of course, bang, Foden came in the side. Perhaps maybe that's what he's thinking with McAtee. Although, as you say, Luke, there's a loan spell, but I want to see more of him. Also with Harvey Elliott. I know, he's he can be a little sausage off the field, but he's a brilliant player, and I wonder if
Great instincts for that second goal.
Yeah,
lovely.
I just wonder after this tournament if he thinks to himself, and he said it as well, he wants to be playing more, if he doesn't start looking for a move.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come on to how ridiculous Liverpool's squad is, but it makes sense for him to at least go out on loan, but probably look to go permanently somewhere.
I would love to spare a little compliment for Jay Stansfield as well.
Yes.
Really led the line brilliantly. There was an amazing opportunity that Mari Hutchinson scared up for him again. Lovely back here, which caught the whole Spanish defence off guard, and he just couldn't get it out of his feet. He should have hit that first time, would have been a beautiful goal. But it was brilliant apart from that. Really, really good, hard working, led the line brilliantly.
The amount of running that Stansfield did.
It's amazing.
And he came off, he was like the 80th minute or something.
He came off at the end.
I did think to myself, if he can do that amount of running, obviously it was an evening game, but it was warm, not quite North America. I did think to myself, he may well need to be on the plane next summer. Because if he's got that amount of energy and he's running around like that, we are going to need that.
It's not a Red Bull at that age, isn't it?
Yeah. Jarell Quansah's forays into the other team's half was great as well. Like, marauding forward, carrying the ball really well. You can tell with him, he's had a really decent amount of top senior team experience at his club. And so he's so confident. And he just steps out of defence brilliantly well, like in a way that you don't see him do as often.
I'll tell you what, though, with Spain pushing for an equaliser, which I didn't think they were going to get, when was it Rowe who bears down on the keeper, comes out of nowhere. You see the keeper coming out and you just think, yep, keep going. And I think Joe Hart on co-coms when he goes over just went, yep, like that. It was so obvious. Everybody
yum.
could see. Yeah, totally. And the former Newcastle United man, current Nottingham Forest man, Elliot Anderson, tucked it away.
Yeah.
Who looks a bit like Ross Barkley's brother.
Yeah, he's got a bit of the Barkley about him.
Yeah, and then there was a predictable sort of brawl between both sets of players at full time. I just knew Spain were going to kick off because they were so pissed off. Although
Marcus, it's the Iberian temper, isn't it?
It got to the point where Ashley Cole, who's a changed man, as we led to believe, was a bit like, just, lads, get away. I never understand that. If you've won the game.
No, he's picked up on the mic though, wasn't he? He said to the lads, if you don't come off the pitch now, I'm going to go and get my air rifle.
There you are, you see. So England faced the Netherlands in the semi-final, who somehow beat Portugal 1-0 despite going down to 10 men after 20 minutes.
It's a winnable one, that, for England.
Yeah. Do you know who was sent off?
Yeah, a chap called... I want you to say.
A chap... see if you can guess this. A chap called Ruben van Bommel.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
Lovely.
Heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredible game between Germany and Italy in that game. Italy were down to 10 men in the 80th minute when Leeds man Willy Gnonto got sent off. The Germans went 2-1 up. Italy got another player sent off and then scored an equaliser in the 96th minute. And I thought to myself...
Amid quite emotional scenes.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's like, you've got to play for pens, lads. Very much like Euro 2000 with the senior side.
Nice reference, yeah.
Germany got them in the 117th minute. I was like, it's a sick now.
Sort of like most of the history of international football.
Yeah. Jim.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, isn't it, to hear how many familiar names are knocking around in these games.
Yes.
Because players break through so young now. They've been like Willie Gnonto playing in the under-21 seems mad to me.
It does.
I felt like it was one of those, when you used to be able to, in certain matches, field like 27-year-olds. I felt like one of them. How's he got in? What's going on?
What, you mean the Olympics?
Go on.
No, the overage players of the Olympics.
James Milner played for the under-21s for a long time.
But it was still just eligible, though.
Because I think it's about
when the campaign starts.
Yeah, the qualifying campaign.
Yes.
So by the time the tournament comes around, you can be a lot older and
That's
still
right.
be eligible.
That's right. Now, on the subject of international football, Gareth Southgate's bid to become Poland manager has been rejected by the Polish FA.
That's a declaration of war, in my view.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's current geopolitical climate, if you are going to do something so deliberately provocative to an ambassador of our nation,
We accepted your fucking Pope.
yeah, I would love.
You did no such thing.
Yeah,
I did.
Did you?
I went to Catholic school. There's pictures of him all over the bloody place.
It's nothing to do with you.
Pope John Paul and Jeremy Beadle.
And,
There was an oil painting of the
Jeremy
Pope
Beadle.
next to Jeremy Beadle.
Jeremy Beadle go to your school?
No, but he visited. The Pope did not visit. I think
gotta do?
Catholic school, you've got to have an oil painting of the Pope, and then next to it, Jeremy Beadle,
For those
and
oil
disgraced Tory MP that did a lot of kids.
I genuinely think if you are going to be, like I say, that provocative, I think I'd love to see Prime Minister Keir Starmer recall all of Britain's diplomats from Poland.
Yeah, he could get this one back after the week he's had.
All wearing waistcoats. Making a big show of leaving.
Well, enough of that bollocks. The Polish FA chief said, with regard to Gareth Southgate, he said, "We received an offer to hire him, but we must remember one basic thing. No foreign coach will give us a guarantee that we will qualify for the World Cup. If he gave us such a guarantee, I would hire him immediately." Which is quite an interesting...
It's a hell of a rebuttal,
Solid,
isn't it?
Yeah. He said, "Fernando Santos is a perfect example. Coach with success, big name, everyone applauded, and the verification was surprising and painful for all of us."
I don't think everyone did applaud for that. Based on my experience of him.
Because of old Gill, Southgate's not got the job.
Yeah, that's poor. That's absolutely
He's
poor.
not been confident enough to go and guarantee that he'll win Poland the World Cup.
I think
And it's
so.
not got him a
Qualify
job.
for the World Cup.
I think Southgate needs to go and take a leaf out of old Svenigen's book. Get yourself out to the Far East. Have a lovely old time. Go Philippines, Thailand, something like that.
Isn't he like cricket? Isn't he a big cricket guy? Am I
Southgate.
confusing him with Steve Bruce?
And that's fish, isn't it?
Yeah, you always get them confused.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, let's talk about some club football. We mentioned Real Oviedo a few podcasts ago because they were playing in not a relegation, it was a promotion playoff. They got through the semi-final. Santi Cazorla came on, changed the game. Well, I can officially tell you right now, in case you hadn't heard, that they are back in the top tier of Spanish football for the first time since 2001.
And
That's massive.
And is Santi Cazorla going to stay on?
Well, I don't know.
Or is it going to be like a Paul Merson type scenario?
Well, they played a two-legged playoff final against Miranda's, and Miranda's were 1-0 up from the first leg and then went 2-0 up on aggregate in the first half of the second leg. But then Santi Cazorla scored a penalty at the end of the first half, so he was involved.
God,
then
they feel sick with happiness.
and then they managed to do it. They sealed promotion, pitch invasion, lovely old job.
It's a lovely goal to win it, by the way.
Yeah, so...
Many Cazorla shirts in the pitch invasion as well.
What do you think? I think it would be amazing to see Cazorla kick a ball in La Liga again.
Yeah.
But I feel
One
like...
ball.
Yeah, just, the
Like
ceremonial
a
kickoff.
first pitch, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
A lot of fans went in their own pocket for this team like 10 years ago, so it's
I think
it's
a lot of
huge.
fans from England as well.
Yeah, there's shareholders from all over the world that saved the club. It became a bit of a kind of viral thing, didn't it? And
Yeah.
I'm sure if there's anything at all left in the tank, Cazorla will want to be involved because he already earns the lowest amount you're allowed to earn in the league, as we have mentioned many times.
Well, he's on
before.
like the Oviedo living wage.
He is, which is still like 90 grand a year. But I'm sure that, as I say, if there's anything left in the tank, you want to be involved in that,
Does
right?
he get a promotion upgrade on his wages?
He could show off his little tattooed ankle, couldn't he?
Yeah, could do, yeah.
Well, maybe now be like, I want a proper wage.
I want a new
it
ankle.
backdated.
Yeah. Do the Aaron Ramsey. Yeah.
It's a very romantic story with the Real Oviedo. Now they're back in La Liga. Sell yourself to the Saudis.
The most romantic thing about it, Marcus, is the guy who scored the winner to seal their promotion was Francisco Portillo.
Yes.
Lovely to hear his name, isn't it? You once met Michael Portillo, didn't you?
He did, yeah.
In where?
It was in Poland.
There we
actually.
go. See, you're judging, but there's the callback.
I wasn't judging.
Get Michael Portillo the Poland job is what I'm saying.
You're doing what that reporter did. What, are you not Correa's brother?
Oh, yeah.
You're not related to Portillo?
Speaking of confused politicians, Cyril Smith was actually a Lib Dem.
Oh, very
Carry
good.
Oh,
Carry on.
right, yeah.
Nice to hear that, Peter.
Sorry.
Thanks. Yeah. That's not going to make any sense if they edit that out, is it?
You fucking dare.
By the way, in the relegation play-out, as it was called in Serie B, Sampdoria beat Salernitana.
They did.
They beat them 4-0.
Yes, Salernitana fans decided on balance that they've taken it quite well after the terrible luck they've been served.
Well, the food poisoning, of course, delayed the game by 2 days. Sampdoria were 2-0 up after 65 minutes, but then the Salernitana fans started ripping out seats and throwing them on the pitch. Eventually, the game was delayed, and Sampdoria were just crowned winners. It's like, let's get over there, get it done.
Yeah.
If you're not vomiting, you're ripping up. So, fine.
Yeah.
You stay where you were. You're there. Let's call the whole thing
dead
off.
club. Get out of here. It's got nothing to do with it. If you're not puking and shitting everywhere, vandalising stuff.
Get a seat.
Yeah.
So, it's a sad ending, really, to an intriguing...
But was it ever going to end any other way?
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. Why is it ending on the 23rd of June?
I know. I was saying that last week. It's wild.
Yeah, respect the Club World Cup. They want to watch it.
Sampdoria, congratulations.
Yes.
See you for pre-season train tomorrow.
All right, coming up after this, David Moyes takes up a new role at the Kremlin. Now then, let's go to the city of Liverpool. Liverpool themselves looking very ominous, aren't they? Florian Wirtz has officially been unveiled by Liverpool on Friday. The fee is £100 million plus £16 million of add-ons. It would make him the most expensive transfer fee involving a British club, bringing someone to this fine island of all time. 23 of his 31 Bundesliga appearances last season came in the attacking midfielder / number 10 role, Jim Campbell, which we used to call the hole. And so,
the jam role.
Where would you fancy seeing him play? Because much has been made about his skill set, where he'll fit in, what he'll do.
I'd quite like them to loan him to a team in another country.
Yep. One of those loan back ones.
Yeah. Straight back to Leverkusen. Why not?
Were you thinking with Arsenal daring to try and sign a centre forward, whether they will or not?
Thinking about daring it.
Yeah, so maybe in two...
I'm talking to about 3 of them.
Yeah, so maybe in 2 summer transfer windows' time they might actually buy someone when Šeško's value is about 30 million more or something. But there was chat about, can we push on? The second place, can we push on? And then Wirtz turns up at Liverpool.
Honestly, it genuinely makes you think. It's very hard to retain a title, isn't it? But you look at that and think they're probably favourites.
It feels
like they're definitely favourites.
Heavy favourites.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'll tell you what it feels like. It feels like the classic Ferguson style of just reinforcing and strengthening from a position of strength already.
Definitely.
Which is a brave. But probably ultimately quite sensible thing to do.
It's demoralising for the other teams.
Another smart thing to do in that situation is to change. Teams have had a season to figure you out. They're definitely going to play slightly differently with Florian Wirtz there because it's just not really a role they've had in the team in that way. So they're going to be probably even more unpredictable than they already are. Frimpong's a brilliant signing as well. They don't appear to be done yet either. It's very ominous. Do you think they'll bring a striker in as well?
Well, I'm not sure, but
because Wirtz could play as the old false 9 as well. I mean, there's so much they could do. I mean, they're going to have to work on it. It may not click straight away. I would fancy it do click pretty early on.
What's quite interesting, you talk about Liverpool being favourites, which for the Premier League next season, which of course they are, but if you look at an amalgamation of betting companies and the prices and stuff, they are favourites, but they're not massive favourites, which is interesting because what you've got as a setup in terms of who the markets think will win the Premier League next season. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City, they're all quite.
I think people are waiting for Man City.
Probably are.
Because they've made some decent signings, and the ones even that brought in January.
But after those 3 markers, it drops off a cliff. Yeah. No one thinks anyone realistically has got a chance of going close, apart from those 3 teams next season.
Not even Thomas the Frank Engine Spurs?
I hope that catches on.
I have to say,
I would love that.
It's not mine. I heard Aaron Cleary say it, but I think it's been doing the rounds. But I thought to myself, when that was said, I thought,
love that.
Well, that should be here to stay.
Thomas the Frank Engine rolls into town, rolls into Tottenham. Very nice.
Indeed. Yeah.
But it's an ominous sign. I mean, it makes them go from. I mean, because really, the other thing that we haven't mentioned explicitly here, which of course we all know, but we mustn't forget, is that Liverpool won the Premier League at a canter last season. Anyway, it wasn't like they took it down to the last game and they just got it done. No. They were by miles the best team, and this makes them better for sure.
Well, and then they've just agreed a £40 million deal to sign Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth.
Yeah,
so the fullbacks will likely be completely different as well, which is certainly going to. I think going to change a lot.
Less rodent-like.
Well, I think presumably Frimpong would be the starter on the right. You would think,
yeah,
and he will be getting up and down that wing. He's effectively a wing back.
And there is talk of Andy Robertson possibly moving on as well, isn't there? But you would think Kerkez is coming in to be the starter.
No, he would be, yeah, and that gives them just so much. I think
so much pace,
and you think. I think that you're going to see even more attack in football from Liverpool if this is the case. Like
Proper bombardment.
Oh, absolutely. That's what they're going for, just to really kind of go, as you say, Luke, we're the best team, we're the champions, and you really won't want to face us even more than you didn't last season.
There's talk of them going in for Gay as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would
because
strengthen
Quanta's going, isn't he?
Winning the league and being in the Champions League does make you a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems
to
to.
spend.
I mean, so Gay is he's got a year left, doesn't he, at Palace famously? But I saw talk saying that he'd possibly even run it down. He's so keen on Liverpool.
Right.
Is the paper talk?
Yeah,
Rat. Does it work the other way? Does that make him a rat?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe.
Will Liverpool fans accept him, or will they say you can come here, but because you've done exactly what Trent Alexander-Arnold did, you are also a rat?
Yeah,
What's the
you will be
opposite of a
booed
rat?
for a while.
Yeah, I think they should boo him for as long as they boo Trent.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, well, as you mentioned, João Quanza is heading to Bayer Leverkusen for £30 million.
That's a really good fee for Quanza.
Yeah, I think
he's good, and that's probably why they've made sure a buyback clause is in there as well, because clearly they expect him to do great things, and he's one of those players, a bit like you were talking earlier about Harvey Elliott. He's clearly really good, but doesn't play as much. Kind of plays when there's an injury or there's a fixture schedule pile up or whatever. And I think as a centre back, you are far better if you can just play every game, just play and play and play. It gets you right into that rhythm. So I think it's a great move for him, but clearly Liverpool expect something from him because they want to get him back if they need to.
How do buyback clauses work for players who aren't really that arsed about going back to where they've been bombed out of?
Well, they have a say in it as well, obviously. It's just that essentially the old club gets first refusal.
Right.
I get the impression that the Leverkusen and the Liverpool transfer teams have just hit it off, just got on like a house on fire, just addicted to doing business with each other.
Must be it.
It's like Arsenal Man City back in the day.
It's exactly like that. Yeah.
Nasri, Sanya. Who are we getting back? What?
Patrick Vieira, come on.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, let's spin our heads and look at the blue half of Liverpool, if we may. We were talking about Carl Walker and David Moyes linking up at Everton. Well, there are some conspiracy theories suggesting that Moyes might not actually be at Everton at all after we saw an image of Dmitry Peskov, who is the Kremlin spokesperson. And if that's not David Moyes in disguise, I don't know what is.
It's a magnificent disguise as well. And what I like about this is two things. One is that we've decided on a podcast to go very, very big at the end of the show on a lookalike that no one can see. They're going to have to Google it themselves, right?
Yeah, but do Google that. You won't be disappointed.
And the second point is, it's genuinely worth doing it.
Yeah.
Because that looks like someone's just shoved a comedy moustache, this is me saying it, who's also got a comedy moustache, on David Moyes, stuck him in a suit and sat him in the Kremlin.
So just Google this, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, right?
It's annoying because I've listened to so much kind of like podcasts about Dmitry Peskov, and I've never actually seen his face. My God, that's a naughty uncle look, innit?
The image I'm looking at looks like it is David Moyes in disguise, and that he thinks everyone can see that it's David Moyes in disguise as well. And the headline on the tweet says Russia would react negatively if Iran's leader is killed, save the Kremlin. So there's
no way Ukraine are making forays back across the border into Russia if David Moyes is in charge.
No.
Absolutely rock solid. They're airtight at the back.
Come on.
What? Some of the stuff he said today.
Which a lot of it will be cut out.
Yeah.
But mine were all true. Pope John Paul II, good canoeist. Jeremy Beadle was on the wall of English Martyrs, Sixth Form College.
English Martyrs.